Good afternoon. No, I've not got lost. I've just been off everything, let's just say. Off the world, off everything. Don't need to explain. We all have those kind of weeks. I'm breathless now and I've only plugged the light in. This is the kind of week I'm having. What have I got to show you? Not an awful lot, really. I've not been crocheting, I've not been doing much at all. I did get a pattern that I rather like. It looks as though it's done, but you can't see it, can you, because of the shadow thing. It looks as though it's done in many colours, but it's actually done in random, you know, the random colours, the Fair Isle type colours. Although as it's kind of like a chunky, I probably will do it in separate colours because I haven't got any chunky that's stripy. I've got plenty stripy that's double knitting, but I would probably do it in just double strands of double knit anyway. And the other two I've got are actually knitted patterns, just don't faint. Knitted. This one is one that I made years back, but I think seem to have lost the pattern, so I bought it again. I'll probably find the pattern now, I've bought it again. It's knitted, but it's in a chunky. I think it was actually done in a brush chunky when I did it, which of course, if you've ever worked with brush chunky, you know it doesn't last long because it picks up every little bit and it sort of starts to look a very, I don't know, I call it sully. I don't know whether you call it that or not. It's not dirty, but when you look down it's got like this layer on the furry bits of the brushed wool that looks grubby. Apparently it doesn't look grubby when people are standing a distance from you, but when you're looking down it just looks grubby. I got rid of a lot of my things in brushed because of that. This one is chunky again, knitted again. And for this I've got ideas of using up my machine cones by using 3 or 4 strands together, however many it takes. However many it takes to get the tension correct. Because I quite like a little plain cardigan, just with the one button. Because you very rarely, well I very rarely button cardigans anyway. And what am I wearing? Well, I'm wearing a sort of purple. It's very long. It's actually supposed to be a dress, but might be a dress on somebody like that. But then it is my size, so it's not like that, is it? I lost the beads. Well, I haven't lost them. They're misplaced in the house. They're in that safe place. The beads I wanted to wear with them, I searched for about half an hour, then I just gave up. So, just gave up. That's one that says crocheted. Again, I think I've got this pattern. But if I have, it'll come in handy with soup. I quite like it. I would probably do an extra row of squares around it because that looks a little short for most of my customers. Or whatever you want to call them. Well, I have been naughty this week. Oops, where's the, oh, I ordered some more of my eyeshadow. For some reason or other, once again, it's coming at a different price. I mean, when I'm pricing it all out to, you know, price things up for Etsy, I'm going to have to take an average, really, because with the postage costs and different costs each time it comes in at a different price. Anyway, it's the ice cakes. I still haven't used up the other lot, they're still there in the corner. If you can see them or not, I don't know whether you can see them all. Piled up in the corner. They're still there. Anyway, this one's greys. All shades of grey. It's a Sueism, this one, really. Talking about Sue, I haven't heard from her since she come back off a mini break listening to music. But I think as she came back from having her break from, you know, a break and seeing the music. I think she was going having the injection in her spine. And she won't be coming tomorrow for another reason. I'll tell you in a few minutes. Which is why I'm doing a video on my own, because I might not feel like it tomorrow. That's another colour. It's sort of peaches, and I would call it a fawn or a camel colour. Peach, cream and camel colour. I don't think these actually have any names, if I remember rightly. No, this one's 47083. The sellotape's grabbing it. I think on the actual ice side, sorry for rustling, I think on the ice side there is actually names, but I don't, they've got names like pink, camel and cream, you know, they don't have any nice names like that. This one is 47064. You know, they're sort of very lacking in imagination with the naming of them. This one is, it's not like the one I had before actually. The one I had before was more orange around the outside. This one's 46985. And this one is blue, sort of like a duck eggy blue, salmon, lemon and a bit of purple. Some of these seem to have 5 colours in them and others seem to just have the 4. So I don't know whether you can see it or not, whether I'm blurring it when I go near the camera. I do not have an expensive camera, which is another reason why I won't even attempt to do tutorials. And now my tripod has decided it's going to shunt. One leg's gone a bit wonky, so we're all a bit sideways. And also the screw that screws my camera onto the tripod doesn't want to screw up anymore. So what have I been doing apart from nothing? I've been in a, I won't say depressed mood, but just an off mood. Off the world mood I've been in. Started to do things and didn't get on with them, you know, just sorted out some yarn that I'm going to send down to Karen for woolly hugs. But I've got to seal it all up and see which is the way to send it. So I need to weigh it all and what's it and see if it's cheaper to go Royal Mail or it's cheaper to go my Hermes. Yeah. So while I've been waiting, I've actually been doing some little, just plain little cardies, that's all. Just with my bits and bobs. They're just, the pattern for this, there's a dozen different ones if you look on Ravelry. The one I'm using is one that the lady took it off the Ravelry. But I'd managed to print it out before she took it off Ravelry. But I think even Mikey's done one, so you don't have to look far to get a little plain cardigan. And with this one I had enough yarn left over to make a little hat. These will all be going in the bag for Karen with her woolly hugs. As you can see, I'm using up bits and pieces, that's why they're all different shades. I didn't have enough cream left, so it finished up with like the lilac-y sleeves. There wasn't enough left up with this one to make a little hat. This one was some very sort of strange yarn. It was very, very nylon-y, very crimply. And I didn't have much of this because it was a bit thicker. So this one has no sleeves, just the little cap sleeves. And at the moment I'm doing a swinging hook syndrome. At the moment I'm doing a little blue one. You start from the top going downwards. It just comes in one size, this pattern, which is why they're all looking alike. I could have found another one, I suppose. Another pattern that was a bit bigger or a bit smaller, but hey ho, I'm sure they'll find a child to fit it. And then I also went into the garage and found my, this is where, this could be disastrous now, couldn't it, when I'm trying to show you these buttons. I keep all my buttons in little containers like this. And these are what I've got to sew on the little cardigans. There's all sorts, there's just little flowers. There's little think they're apples. Apples. These are too big. These are big apples, but these are too big to go on the baby's things. Ooh. And then I've also got some, I think these are cars. They come in different colours. Ooh. My fingers, like the rest of it, are not working today. So you have to excuse me. Little cars. That's just the box I got. I've got another box with baby buttons in. Well, another few boxes with baby buttons in. I keep them all like this in different colours. And they're all lined up one on top of each other in the garage. But of course, what do I say about my garage? I can't get to them. This time it's all the furniture cushion covers that are, ow, excuse me a minute, in the way. Right, I'll get up to one reason why I've been a bit peed off this week. Is, as you know, I went down to the hospital in the end of February, and when I got there it was the wrong clinic. We'll send you an appointment with Mr. Kim as soon as possible. So I kept thinking to myself, it's a long while this letter coming, a long while. So I phoned them up. Oh, it says on here that you've been discharged. Excuse me. Discharged from where? Discharged from the clinic. I went, no. So I told them all about the mistake that had been made, and you know, I got sent to the wrong clinic, blah de blah de blah. And I said, I'm waiting for this other letter to come to see Mr. Kim again. Oh. Well, I don't understand why that's happened. I'll have to have a word with his secretary. So off she goes. She comes back. Oh, she's in a meeting all day. But I've spoken to one of the other secretaries and they say it's okay to book you in. Right, okay, so when are you going to book me in? She said, oh, can you come Friday? Tomorrow, now. Friday, yeah. So I'm now going to have to go on Friday to tell Mr. Kim that I have not been discharged from the hospital. Where did he get this? Oh, there's been some new administration stuff in the appointments department, and they have changed the way of booking things, and unfortunately they didn't tell most of us like what was going on, etc, etc. So the upshot seems to have been, because I got discharged from the spinal unit because they can't do any more for my spine, it's just crumbling to bits and end of story, no good going on about it, that they'd misread it as me being discharged from all the departments. Hello! So I've been discharged from the diabetics, have I? I've been discharged from the weight management course, I've been discharged from everything under the sun. So when I was sat here, wasn't I, like Biffy on a rock bun? I don't know where that statement come from, but it's one from my childhood. Apparently you sit there like Biffy on a rock bun. So I would have been sat there waiting for something that never came. So now I'm going to have to sort out tomorrow whether I'm still on track for the pain management injection or whether that's completely been discharged as well. You know, wouldn't you think they've got, she's got these outstanding appointments. Wouldn't you think that, you know, she can't have been discharged from the hospital because, you know, she's got all these appointments still to come to. I worry about her NHS, I really do. I was talking to a neighbour and he says, you stay remarkably cheerful. I said, well, what else can I do? It's either that or bang my head against the wall until it bleeds, you know. But either way, everything's been sore this week, so I don't want to go into it. I don't want to be a whiny old whingy minnie. I watch a lot of videos and they whine, and I don't want mine to turn out to be one of those videos. So the sun's shining today after being a horrible, wet, miserable, dismal week where it's rained every blooming day. All of you people out there that want some rain, will you please come and take some of ours, because we're getting a bit peed off with it. Apparently, according to the weather forecast, it's going to be nice today, but don't hold your breath for the weekend. In other words, we'll be back to normal again. It was supposed to be the first day of spring. I can't remember when it was, but it didn't feel very spring-like because that day it was pouring down. We actually had hailstones one day, would you believe? Hey ho, hey ho. Oh well. I have been trying my best to tidy up, but it's not been very successful because I don't know about you, but if you get a bit down in the mouth, you know, you can't really have this viz and verve and for doing some. Still got me things to list on Etsy, still got those to go on, still not done them. I was thinking today I might do them, but then I thought, no, I've got to go up and get a prescription from the chemist. I've got to go and do something else today. I've got to finish up packing up the parcels. Oh, ready for the post office. I was going to go to the post office tomorrow, but that doesn't seem to be going to be happening. So it's probably going to be Monday now, because Saturday my niece is coming to do my hair. As you can see, I'm rapidly turning darker. I wish I would go grey. But no, it's going. Sides are silver, bits in the fringe are silver. The rest of it is stubbornly brown. Because it gets on my nerves doing all this whatever to my hair. Well, I've not got much to say really, have I? Bit of an old misery today, haven't I? If you want to know where Gigi is, he's fast asleep. There he is. Fast asleep on his chair. Can you see him? Look. Don't know whether you can see him or you can't see him. I can't see what you can see. But he's... Oh, there he is, yeah. There you go. There he is. He was a bit sniffly yesterday. He wasn't too good. So I don't know who gave it who, but he was snishing all over me. You know, it's kind of like... And he was feeling a little bit on the miserable side yesterday, so we matched each other very well. Usually when I'm a bit off, he's usually quite bright and cheerful and he chirps me up. I mean, I miss my Buster for that. Buster was so intuitive. If I was having a rough day or anything like that, he would come and he would sit at the side of me. And he would go, and I had to stroke him like that, as if to say, I'm feeling sad for you too, Mum, you know. But Gigi doesn't have that empathy, let's just say. Gigi's all about him, you know. I am the important one, it's me. Never mind about you. You might be feeling poorly today, but never mind about you. Me. I want to sit on your knee. I want to be cuddled. I want to be stroked. It's all me, with Gigi. Whereas Buster wasn't. He was just a great dog. Oh, don't start me off. I'm already not. I mean, the other day I just burst into floods of tears and I don't know why. Maybe it was the state of my bedroom that was making me cry. Because it was in a bit of a state. And I think I told you I'd put up a clothes rail and it just collapsed all over the place and the clothes went everywhere. I am back to sleeping on all of the bed now. 100% of the bed I'm back on. Well, apart from my Mr. Man pillow that goes at the side of me. I tried sleeping in the middle of this pillow, but it just hurts my neck somehow or another. So he or it or she, whatever, lies at the side of me now. It's like a back pillow. Well, it tries to help me back. But anyway, because I say I'm just a misery today. I've not got much to say to anybody. Except, oh gosh, I've left the name of the lady in there. It's Magic something or other. She said that my cherry tree, my tall cherry tree, was an Amagawa, and she's right. That was the name I was searching for. It's still budding. It's not got any flowers on it yet, because I will take pictures, especially for Sian. Next door's was beautiful, and I was going to go out and take a picture of it, but it was raining. And now, of course, a lot of the flowers have blown off it. That's the only trouble with them, with flowering cherries. They don't last. You get about a week of beautifulness and then gone. But mine's always behind hers. I went to have a look this morning because it's sunny and it has got buds coming of it, so there's hope for you to get a nice picture of it, Sian. And she loves all things Japanese, yes. So I really need to G myself up, and I'm at the stage where I've got so many things I would like to do. Can't decide what I want to do next. Another lady asked me for some more ideas to use up scraps. Well, I suppose I am using up scraps, aren't I? But if you don't want to do baby cardigans for charity, then I don't know what you would use your scraps up for. These are just, I mean, these were that much of a scraps. There wasn't enough left of either colour to make a little hat. I used all but a few threads, you know, the colour. So they're just waiting to have some buttons stitched on them. That was so little, the amount of yarn I had. It's actually so stiff it can practically stand upon its own. This was yarn with a history. It was Lister's Crimpline. Yeah, Crimpline. And it was called double 6, so it was a bit thicker than a double knit. It's probably more the thickness of a worsted, yeah. But with it being Crimpline, it's kind of... The poor child will be stood up in it like that, but still. I'm sure it'll be useful somewhere, yeah. And that was leftovers from something I made. Again, I just about had enough wool to do, well, yarn, whatever, to do the little hat. So I've got some pink I'm going to do, and I'm using up this blue. This was the part ball as well. They were all parts of 100-gram balls, you know, that I've used on other things. And to be honest, there's so much yarn in the garage that I could probably make baby charity cardigans to feed, well, not feed the world, but you know what I mean, clothe the world. But we'll have to see what goes next. The next thing I need to do is to do that blooming 8C. But, of course, Saturday my niece will be here, so it probably won't get done. Sunday I have to tidy up before Sunday because it's Mother's Day in the UK. So my son and daughter-in-law will call down, no doubt. So I need to tidy up. The house is just... I'm not a tidy person at the best of times, but when I get a little bit down, the first thing that goes is housework because it's not high on the list. I wish I had a little bit of OCD, just enough to clean the house. I wouldn't like to be afflicted with it all the time because it's not a nice thing to have OCD. But I would like to have just a little bit to G me up to do housework. I mean, it's not that I don't want to do it. The fact I don't want to do it is because it hurts. There's no two ways about it. It hurts. Start off hoovering, do about a 4-foot square, and then I have to sit down. So then I go back and do another 4-foot square, sit down. So as you can see, it takes me practically all of one day to do one room. By the end of the day, my enthusiasm has waned to 0. Whereas before I could do the whole house in one day. I used to start at the top of the house. Always started in the bathroom for some strange reason, I don't know why. I like to have a really clean bathroom. That's the thing that bugs me now, is because it's not like as tip-top as it used to be. It's clean, don't get me wrong, because I wipe it round every day. But it's not as scrubbed as it used to be. You know what I'm saying? I had to think about bathrooms when I was younger. You know, I used to judge people by the state of their bathrooms and their toilets. You know, it's sort of like, if their bathroom and toilet aren't clean, then I don't want to eat in the house, you know. But, yeah, wet wipes are a great invention. We never had those when I was younger. It was all the good old, you know, elbow grease where you're doing everything. What I miss most of all is there was a powder, it was called either Ajax or Vim. Scouring powder, and you used to shake it into the bath or into the toilet bowl and everything, and it used to bring everything up sparkly clean. all these spray stuffs and that, they don't get it clean like they used to. You know, you want to have a good old scrub in the grout and stuff, don't you? Mind you, I'm not fit to do any scrubbing in the grout these days. We're back on that subject again. You just see, you're depressing me now. You're making me say things I don't want to talk about, like housework and washing up. I want to be happy and jolly and sit and crochet all day. And of course, in an ideal world you could, but in a realistic world you can't. Most of you have got kids, grandkids, whatever. You know, you've got them to see to, haven't you? So, you know, I get as much time as anybody, I suppose, to sit and crochet. Apart from when Sir Gigi wants nursing and now my nose is running. Excuse me, that's not very elegant. My tissues are over there. You don't want to see me wipe myself on my sleeve, do you? Like you used to do when you were kids, when your mum wasn't looking, you know. And then, of course, the telltale silver marks on the sleeves would give you away, wouldn't they? You know, when you think you're a kid, you're terribly uncouth, aren't you? You know, you sit there talking to everybody, picking your nose. And my mother used to go, because she wouldn't come out right in company and say, don't pick your nose, because she would draw attention to the fact I was picking my nose, you know. She couldn't reach me, you know, it was like glare. She had the glare, you know, the mother glare. You know, the... Oh, my nose is running now and I'm in a terrible state. I'm feeling a little bit cheerful today, a little bit more cheerful. Excuse me, sniffing. It's allergies, by the way, it's not a cold. Every time I go outside, it just starts. Not sure what I'm allergic to, but I'm allergic to something. So I don't know when Sue's coming now, because I just sent her a message saying I won't be in tomorrow. Because I forgot to tell her. I thought she might come today. Because she hasn't come today, I thought, well, maybe she might come tomorrow. So I thought I'd better send her a message. Save her coming miles and miles and not being in. Yeah. Because I'm going at lunchtime. A wonderful time to go, isn't it, lunchtime? Because they don't exactly sell beautiful sandwiches at the hospital, unless you go into Marks and Spencer's. And they cost an arm and a leg. It's one of our more upmarket foods places. And, you know, there's no Poundland shops down there. Poundland bakeries, there's none of that. Last time I went, I'd missed my breakfast because I was going so early. That was the appointment that, you know, was wrong. I went to see Mr. Carr instead of Mr. Kim. And I went down and had my breakfast in the cafe and it was absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. The bacon was okay. The sausage had all kinds of spices in it. My egg had been poached and it was all like watery. And it was hard in the middle. I like my eggs to run a bit, you know, runny eggs. And the tomatoes were tin ones and they were horrible. They must have been the cheapest tin tomatoes they could find. And even my hash browns weren't crispy. They were soggy. I didn't have a pen with me, otherwise I would have filled in the suggestions thing. You know, that have you enjoyed your meal? One of those. Never a pen anywhere near. If you notice, that makes you sure you don't fill it in. Oh, I mean, the guy who was collecting the plates and that, he said, have you finished? And I went, yes. I said, this is the most disgusting breakfast I've eaten. You know, and he said, it isn't nice, is it? And I said, no, it's not. That's the member of staff agreeing with me that it wasn't nice. Look at that. It's so messy. I had lipstick all over my cup. The reason why I'm still the knitting queen is because it's a big mug. And I do like my big mugs. I had a lovely one that was crochet. It was green, it was beautiful, like frog green. And it was a handmade one that I bought, paid a fortune for it off Etsy or whatever it was. But it just chipped everywhere and all the paint started coming off it and it started to crack. I thought whoever it was, this Lady Potter, she didn't do a very good job of it. So, I don't know what I'm going to do next. I have to go up the village to get my prescription. I have to go because it's my painkillers and I've only got enough until this evening. And I can't go tomorrow because I've got to go to the hospital, so I'm going to have to stir my legs and make myself scooty up. Monday, the guy from the scooter place is going to ring me. I don't know whether he's going to come or not, depends on the weather. He thinks he's finally got the scooter that I'm going to love. So has it got lights? He went, yes. I said, do 8 miles an hour? Yes. I think you're going to love this scooter. I said, right, okay. Bring it round, let me have a look at it. I've got a lot of things I should have done. Should have renewed my bus pass. What else should I have done? Oh, filled in my electoral roll. You've got to fill it in to make sure you live here still, and so you can vote. Not that I ever vote, really. It's either raining or something when it's voting day, and I think, nah, I'm not that politically minded that I want to brave hailstones and rain and everything. I could get a postal vote, I suppose, but I can't be bothered. I've gone very apathetic in my old age. I used to be very rah, 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 very political, very... Now, I mean, there's the awful thing that happened yesterday in London. I don't know whether that was just political or whether it was just a random nutcase ploughing into people with a car and stabbing a policeman to death. You never know these days whether it's organised or it's not organised. It didn't look very organised. It just looked like a complete and utter nutter. Running amok with a car, ploughing into people, killing people. I wouldn't like to say it was a planned attack, because if it was a planned attack it wasn't very well planned. So, of course everybody's on alert now, you know. You never know the next to you. Wherever you seem to live, whatever country you live in, you're not safe, are you, these days? But if you allowed it to get in your way of thinking, if you said, I'm not going out because A, B and C might happen, you might as well say, I'm never going to get on a bus because it might crash, I'm not going on a train because it might crash, and I'm never going on a plane. Because heaven knows they do crash, but, you know, every once in a while, but because there's so many people on it, when it does crash, it like makes a big impact, doesn't it? But, no, I just tend to live my life and just hope my name's not on for that day, you know. I'm not on the Grim Reaper's list for that day. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you anymore because I've got nothing else to talk about. Not got any more ideas. I do have ideas buzzing in my head, but all of a sudden this week they suddenly all disappeared. Last week I was raring to go. I had all these ideas what I was going to do, and I finished this and that, and I had all these things buzzing in my head, but of course I didn't write anything down. Didn't draw any little diagrams in my little book. And now, it's like when you forget your shopping list, isn't it? You know, you go in the supermarket and, what do I want? And you come out with £50 worth of groceries and nothing that you really needed, you know. That's me. My niece took me shopping on Saturday, and it was £50-something, and I'm thinking, what have I bought for £50-something? I had 3 bags, and I didn't buy any crochet magazines, I didn't buy anything like that. I bought 2 bunches of daffodils, but they were £1 each, so I mean I wasn't exactly pushing the boat out there, was I? Food is just gone so expensive these days. My pension got to rise. £2 a month. Doesn't even buy me a sandwich in Marks and Spencer's. They're at least £2.50. You know, us pensioners, we've never had it so good, you know. People say, the pensioners who've never had it so good are the pensioners who were wise enough when they were young to take out a private pension. But even then they get taxed on it, so, you know, you're not encouraged, are you, to look after your old age. But I never was, you see, I just had this... I've always had an ostrich in the sand sort of attitude to life, really. If it doesn't affect me directly, I just tend to dismiss it. It was only when I actually came to retire and discovered how little I get that it was like, oh, Should have done something about that earlier. But my ex-husband always used to say, I've got a wonderful pension. You know, wonderful pension, you don't need to worry about it. When I retire, we're going to be fine. Of course, you know, I didn't realise that when I came to retire, he was nowhere around. He'd gone long ago. So I should have really been a wise woman and ignored him and took out my own pension at the time when I did have the money to pay it. Hey, hindsight is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So if any of you are young enough that are watching this, don't make the mistakes that I make. Do something a bit more clever. I was going to say cleverer, but I don't think that's a word. You never would think I got a GCSE, as it was in my day, in English and also one in maths, which are complete, absolute amazement for my maths teacher, who had said to me before the exam, there's one person I know who won't pass in here, and that's you. Fooled her, fooled her. Luckily, I got a paper, you know, my exam paper, with everything that I had. I was going to say rehearsed, but you know, everything I had swatted up, or whatever you want to call it these days. So I was lucky. If it had been anything else on the maths paper, I would have been sunk, but... Oh, well. Anyway, it's my niece's birthdays soon, but I'm not doing them anything crocheted or knitted this time. I decided I haven't got the time because the birthday's the 2nd and 3rd of April. And the mood I've been in about not being in the mood to crochet. My inspiration just fizzled out, that's all I can say. My crojo just went out the window. Woo. It does that from time to time, but I've ceased to worry about it because it comes back. At one time, it was missing for more than a week. I used to think, oh my God, I'm never going to crochet again, you know. And then it just, one minute I wake up and I think, I'm going to crochet today. And it just comes back to me. That's why I'm doing these, you know, spoon feeding myself. Just doing something small that I don't have to think about till I decide on what I want to actually do. Anyway, it's goodbye from the sleeping Gigi. And goodbye from me. And goodbye from Sue, wherever she happens to be. I think she's actually having her injection today. That's probably why she's not answered my text. Anyway, bye all. Have a nice day. And a good weekend.